the gun pressed against her throat, cold metal biting into her skin. Ivy Chen's world had collapsed in 72 hours. 3 days ago, she was invisible. Just another foreign waitress grinding through night shifts in Seoul's glittering Gangnam district. Now she was trapped between two monsters wearing expensive suits, and both wanted to own her. Her pulse hammered as she stood frozen in the private room of the Azure Dragon, Seoul's most exclusive restaurant where politicians, CEOs, and criminals paid thousands just to be seen. The city's elite came here to make deals that would never see daylight. And tonight, she was serving the most dangerous table in all of Korea. 23 years old, virgin, broke, alone in a foreign country. She never asked for this attention, never wanted these eyes on her. But when you catch the interest of men like Cheng Mao and Kim Jae-sung, what you want stops mattering. The nightmare started simple enough. A dropped napkin, a moment of eye contact, a smile she didn't mean to give. But in their world, even accidents had consequences. And Ivy Chen was about to learn that some men don't just take what they want. They destroy everything around it first. If you're already hooked and ready for this dark romance thriller, smash that like button right now. You're about to witness an innocent girl's descent into Seoul's most dangerous underworld. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single second of what happens next. Her hands shook as she approached table 12. The entire restaurant had gone quiet the moment they walked in. Not together. Never together. But within minutes of each other, as if fate itself was playing a sick game. 2 kings. 1 room. And Ivy had the misfortune of being assigned to serve them both. Chung Mao arrived first. He moved through the Azure Dragon like he owned it, because he did. At 32, he controlled half of Seoul's underground through sheer brutality wrapped in Italian silk. His family's syndicate had roots in both Korea and China, making him untouchable by law and feared by everyone else. Black hair slicked back, jaws sharp enough to cut glass, eyes that looked at people the way predators examined prey. He didn't sit in the main dining room. He never did. His table was in the back corner, shadowed, private, surrounded by 6 men in dark suits who watched every movement in the restaurant with hands resting inside their jackets. Ivy's manager grabbed her arm, his face pale. Table 12, Mr. Cheng, don't mess this up. Don't look at him too long. Don't speak unless spoken to. 1 mistake, and we're all dead. She'd heard the stories. The businessman who insulted Chung Mao's mother, found floating in the Han River. The politician who tried to regulate his operations, resigned within a week, something about his daughter's photos being leaked. The rival gang member who tried to take his territory. His body was never found, but pieces of his clothing showed up at his family's doorstep. Ivy nodded, swallowing the fear rising in her throat. She smoothed down her black uniform dress, suddenly aware of how it hugged her curves, how the hem stopped mid-thigh. She grabbed her notepad and forced her feet to move. As she approached, his eyes found her immediately. Dark, intense, calculating. They traveled down her body slowly, deliberately, like he was cataloging every inch. She felt stripped bare under that gaze. "Good evening, sir." Her voice came out smaller than intended. "What can I—" "You're new." His voice was deep, accented with Mandarin underneath the Korean. It wasn't a question. "I've been here 3 months, sir. I would have noticed you." He leaned back in his chair, still watching her with that unnerving focus. "You're not Korean?" "No, sir. I'm from Nigeria." Something flickered in his expression. Interest, maybe. Curiosity mixed with something darker. "Nigeria? A long way from home?" He gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." Ivy's heart stopped. "Sir, I'm working. I can't. I just made it part of your job." "Sit." The command in his voice left no room for argument. Her manager was watching from across the room, his face a mixture of terror and confusion. She sat, perching on the edge of the chair, every muscle tense. Her fingers gripped the edge of her notepad so hard her knuckles went white. Chung Mao studied her face with the patience of a man who always got what he wanted. "What's your name?" "Ivy Chen, sir." "Ivy." He repeated it slowly, like tasting wine, letting each syllable roll off his tongue. "How does a girl from Nigeria end up serving tables in Seoul?" "Student visa, sir. I'm studying international business at Yonsei University. The restaurant helps with expenses." Her voice trembled slightly, and she hated herself for it. Smart and beautiful, dangerous combination. His lips curved into something that might have been a smile if it reached his eyes. "Your parents must worry, you being so far from home." "Just my father, sir. My mother passed when I was young." His expression shifted slightly. Something almost human crossed his features before the mask returned. A flicker of what might have been sympathy or perhaps just recognition of shared pain. "I'm sorry to hear that." He reached into his jacket and Ivy flinched, her body tensing for danger. He noticed, and his smile widened as he pulled out a business card. "You're afraid of me. Good. Fear keeps people alive." He slid the card across the table. Embossed gold lettering, a phone number, nothing else. "If you ever need anything, protection, money, a better job, you call that number. Anyone gives you trouble in this city, you tell them you're under Cheng Mao's protection. Understand?" Before Ivy could respond, the restaurant's energy shifted again. The temperature seemed to drop to 10 degrees. Even Chung Mao's men straightened, hands moving fully inside their jackets now. The waiters froze mid-step. Conversations died mid-sentence. Kim Jae-sung had arrived. If Chung Mao was brutal elegance, Kim Jae-sung was refined savagery. 30 years old, heir to the Kim family's empire, one of the oldest and most powerful crime families in South Korea. Where Chung Mao took what he wanted through force, Kim Jae-sung dismantled his enemies so thoroughly they disappeared from existence. No bodies, no evidence, just empty spaces where people used to be. He was beautiful in the way poisonous things are beautiful. Perfect features that could have graced magazine covers. Sharp cheekbones, eyes like black ice that saw everything and revealed nothing. His tailored navy suit probably cost more than Ivy made in a year. He moved with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no and survived to tell about it. His eyes swept the room and landed on their table, on Ivy sitting with Chung Mao. Something dark and dangerous flashed across his face. Surprise, then calculation, then something possessive that made her stomach twist. He walked straight toward them, his men flanking him like shadows. Ivy's heart hammered. She tried to stand, but Chung Mao's hand shot out, gripping her wrist. Not hard enough to hurt. Hard enough to keep her in place. Hard enough to send a message. "Don't move," he murmured, his voice low and intimate. "He's coming here anyway." Kim Jae-sung stopped at their table. The air between the two men crackled with barely restrained violence. Ancient rivalries, old wounds, territory disputes that had left bodies in their wake. They'd been at war for 3 years, a cold war of territory and power that occasionally erupted into bloodshed on Seoul's streets. Cheng Mao. Kim Jae-sung's voice was smooth, cultured, deadly. "Still slumming in places you don't own?" "Kim Jae-sung." Chung Mao's smile was sharp as broken glass. "Still pretending your family's name means something? It means more than yours ever will." The insult hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Chung Mao's men shifted, reaching for weapons. Kim Jae-sung's guards, Ivy hadn't even noticed them enter, moved closer, forming a tighter circle. She was trapped between two armies about to collide, and she had no idea why. Then Kim Jae-sung's eyes dropped to her, really looked at her, and everything changed. His expression shifted from cold disdain to something else entirely. Surprise, then interest, then hunger so raw it made her breath catch. His gaze traveled over her face like he was memorizing every feature, cataloging every detail, down to where Chung Mao's hand still gripped her wrist possessively, then back up to her eyes. When their gazes locked, something electric passed between them. Unwanted, terrifying, undeniable. "Who is this?" His voice had softened, but that made it more dangerous, not less. "None of your concern," Cheng Mao said, his grip tightening slightly on Ivy's wrist. "Everything in my city is my concern." Kim Jae-sung addressed Ivy directly, ignoring Chung Mao completely. "What's your name?" She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. She was drowning in the attention of two apex predators, and her survival instincts were screaming contradictory commands. Run, freeze, submit, fight. Her throat had gone completely dry. "Her name is Ivy," Chung Mao answered for her, "and she's under my protection now." Kim Jae-sung's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Is that so?" He reached into his pocket, and Ivy flinched again, her body remembering every story she'd heard about what happened to people who crossed these men. He pulled out a black credit card, placing it on the table in front of her with deliberate care. "I'm Kim Jae-sung. Whatever he's offering you, I'll triple it. Whatever protection he promised, mine is absolute. This card has no limit. Use it." "She doesn't need your money," Chung Mao growled, his voice dropping to something dangerous. "I wasn't talking to you." Kim Jae-sung's eyes never left Ivy's face. "Do you have a phone?" Wordlessly, terrified, she nodded. "Give it to me." Her hands trembled as she pulled her phone from her apron pocket. Kim Jae-sung took it, his fingers brushing hers. The contact sent electricity shooting up her arm, making her gasp softly. He typed something quickly and handed it back. His number was now in her contacts, saved simply as Jae-sung. "You call me if you need anything, and I mean anything." His voice dropped lower, intimate despite the audience. "Especially if he bothers you." Chung Mao stood abruptly, still holding Ivy's wrist. "We're done here." Kim Jae-sung smiled, but it was the smile of a shark circling prey. "We haven't even started." For a moment, Ivy thought they would fight right there. Thought she'd witness her first gang war up close, would see blood spilled on the expensive marble floors. The tension was so thick, she could barely breathe. But Chung Mao released her wrist and stepped back, his eyes never leaving Kim Jae-sung's face. "See you around, Kim Jae-sung. Count on it." Chung Mao walked away, his men following in perfect formation. Kim Jae-sung watched him go, then looked back at Ivy, still frozen in her chair, her heart racing so fast she felt dizzy. "Get up," he said softly. It was somehow more commanding than Chung Mao's bark. She stood on shaking legs. "You're not serving tonight. Go home. My driver will take you." "Sir, I can't just leave." "Your manager will be compensated for your absence. Go home, Ivy. Lock your doors and keep your phone close." He walked away before she could argue, his men creating a path through the restaurant like the Red Sea parting. Her manager rushed over, his face ashen, sweat beading on his forehead. "What happened? What did they say to you?" "I don't know," she whispered, staring at the business card and credit card on the table. "I don't know." But she knew enough. Two of the most dangerous men in Seoul had just marked her as theirs. And in their world, being wanted was the same as being hunted. Ivy's apartment was a tiny studio in Itaewon, the international district where rent was almost affordable and nobody asked too many questions. She'd felt safe here for 3 months. It was small, but hers, a sanctuary from the chaos of the city, from the pressure of university, from the loneliness of being so far from home. Now she felt like a rabbit in a trap. She sat on her narrow bed, staring at her phone, at the contact that simply said Jae-sung, at the business card with no name, just a number, at the black credit card that promised unlimited wealth. Why her? She was nobody. Just a foreign student trying to survive in an expensive city, working nights to pay for a degree that might get her a decent job back home. She wasn't beautiful enough to turn heads. She'd always been too tall, too dark, too awkward. Korean beauty standards had made that clear enough. The stares she got on the street weren't admiration. They were curiosity at best, judgment at worst. But tonight, two men who could have anyone had looked at her like she was something precious, something to fight over, something worth starting a war for. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Did you get home safely? Another buzz. Different, unknown number? I'm having your apartment building secured. My men are outside. You're safe. Her hands shook. This was insane. This was... A knock at her door made her jump, her heart leaping into her throat. She froze, terror flooding through her veins like ice water. The knocking came again, patient, persistent, controlled. Miss Chen? I'm Mr. Cheng's driver. I have a delivery. She crept to the door, looking through the peephole. A man in a black suit stood in the hallway, holding a large box. He looked professional, dangerous, military. She opened the door a crack, keeping the chain on. I didn't order anything. Mr. Cheng ordered it for you. New door locks, security camera, pepper spray. He said your building's security is inadequate. His tone suggested this wasn't up for debate. Before she could respond, footsteps echoed up the stairwell. Another man appeared, this one in a navy suit. He carried an even larger box, handling it with care. Miss Chen? Mr. Kim sent these. A new laptop, phone, and personal security system. He also wanted you to have this. He held up a small velvet box that screamed expensive. This was spiraling out of control. I can't accept... With respect, miss, refusing these gifts would insult them. And you don't want to do that. The first driver's voice was gentle but firm, the tone of someone delivering a warning wrapped in courtesy. Just accept. Make your life easier. They left the boxes in her hallway and departed, their footsteps echoing down the stairs in perfect synchronization. Ivy stared at them, her heart racing, her mind spinning. Inside Chung Mao's box, industrial-grade locks, a camera system that looked military-grade, pepper spray, a taser, and a note in sharp, aggressive handwriting. Your safety is my priority. Install these tonight. My men are watching the building. CM inside Kim Jae-sung's box. The latest smartphone still in its sealed packaging, a laptop that cost more than her semester's tuition, a security system with instructions in 3 languages, and the velvet box. She opened it with trembling fingers. A diamond bracelet, delicate, exquisite, each stone catching the light like captured stars. Worth more than her life, probably. Worth more than everything she owned combined. The note was typed on heavy cardstock, the quality screaming old money. Beautiful things deserve beautiful protection. Wear this. It has a tracking chip. If you're ever in danger, press the clasp twice. I'll find you. KJS. She sat on her floor, surrounded by expensive gifts and terrifying implications. Her phone buzzed again, then again. Messages flooded in like a tidal wave. Sleep well, Ivy. Tomorrow we talk properly. CM sweet dreams. I'll be thinking of you? Jae-sung, she was caught between 2 tigers, and she had no idea how to escape without being devoured. The next morning, Ivy woke to 17 missed calls. 10 from the restaurant, 7 from unknown numbers. Her manager's voicemail was frantic, his voice cracking with panic. Ivy, you need to call me back immediately. Mr. Cheng called. He's reserved you. You're his private server now. Exclusive. But then Mr. Kim called and said the same thing. They're fighting over who has rights to you. Ivy, I don't know what you did, but you need to fix this before someone dies. People are going to die over this. Please call me back. Her hands went numb. She couldn't go back there. She couldn't face them again. Maybe if she just disappeared, went to a different part of Seoul, found a new job, became invisible again, maybe they'd forget about her. Maybe this nightmare would end. Her door crashed open. She screamed, scrambling back on her bed as men in black suits flooded into her apartment. Not attacking, securing, checking corners, windows, closets, professional, military. They moved with practiced efficiency, weapons drawn, clearing her tiny space in seconds. Chung Mao walked in last, looking impossibly powerful in the small space. His presence seemed to suck all the air from the room. His eyes found her immediately, and something possessive flared in them when he saw her wearing the bracelet. Wait, she'd fallen asleep in her clothes, and the bracelet was still on her wrist from when she tried it on last night. You're wearing his jewelry. His voice was dangerously quiet, each word precise and sharp. I fell asleep. Take it off. What? Take it off. Each word was a bullet. You don't wear another man's gifts. Not while you're under my protection. I'm not under anyone's protection. I didn't ask for any of this. Her voice rose, fear transforming into desperate anger. He crossed the room in 3 strides, towering over her. This close, she could smell his cologne. Expensive, woody, intoxicating. Sandalwood and something darker, more primal. His hand cupped her jaw, forcing her to look up at him. His touch was firm but not painful, possessive but strangely gentle. You think you have a choice? His thumb brushed her lower lip, the gesture intimate and threatening at once. The moment I saw you, you became mine. The moment Kim Jae-sung saw you, you became a prize. Neither of us loses, Ivy, ever, so you need to choose. Choose what? Who you belong to. Terror and something else, something hot and confusing, raced through her. I don't belong to anyone. His laugh was dark, humorless. Innocent. That's what caught my attention, you know. You don't understand the world you've entered. Let me educate you. He released her jaw and stepped back. Kim Jae-sung will romance you. He'll be charming, generous, patient. He'll make you feel special, wanted, safe. And then, when you're completely dependent on him, when you love him, he'll own you so thoroughly you won't remember who you were before. And you? She whispered. I'm honest. I want you. I'll take care of you, protect you, give you everything. But I won't pretend this is a fairy tale. This is ownership. You'll be mine, completely. And I'll be obsessed with you. He said it like a confession, like admitting a weakness he couldn't control. I haven't stopped thinking about you since yesterday. That's dangerous for both of us. Before she could respond, her window exploded inward. Glass shattered everywhere as men in navy suits crashed through, guns drawn. Chung Mao's men returned fire, and Ivy screamed, dropping to the floor as her apartment became a war zone. The sound of gunfire was deafening, impossibly loud in the confined space. Get her out, Chung Mao roared, returning fire with a gun that appeared from nowhere. 2 of his men grabbed Ivy, throwing a bulletproof vest over her and dragging her toward the door. Her feet barely touched the ground as they hauled her forward. They made it to the hallway before Kim Jae-sung appeared at the top of the stairs, his own gun drawn, his beautiful face twisted with rage. You brought war to her doorstep, he snarled at Chung Mao. I told you she needed protection. Your men just shot through her window. Those aren't my men, you idiot. Someone else is targeting her. The realization hit them simultaneously. They both turned to Ivy, who was shaking so hard she could barely stand. Her teeth chattered. Her vision blurred with tears. This wasn't about their rivalry. This was something else. Someone else wanted her dead. But who? And why? Kim Jae-sung's expression shifted to something almost tender as he looked at her terror. Get her to my car. Now. Like hell, Chung Mao started. Your men are pinned down and more are coming. My car is armored and my driver is ex-military. Unless you want her dead, move. For a moment, the 2 most dangerous men in Seoul stood frozen, their hatred warring with logic. Then Chung Mao grabbed Ivy himself, lifting her into his arms like she weighed nothing, and ran for the stairs. Kim Jae-sung covered them, his shots precise, controlled, lethal. Each bullet found its mark. They burst into the street where a sleek black SUV waited, bulletproof glass gleaming in the morning sun. Cheng Mao shoved Ivy inside, then climbed in after her. Kim Jae-sung dove in last, and the car peeled away as bullets pinged off the armor like rain on metal. Ivy was squeezed between them in the back seat, her whole body trembling, her mind fractured with shock. She'd nearly died. Someone had tried to kill her, and the only reason she was alive was because two crime lords happened to be obsessed with her. "Where are we going?" she managed to ask, her voice barely a whisper. "My safe house," Kim Jae-sung said. "Like hell," Chung Mao growled. "My compound is fortified. Your compound is where your enemies expect you to go." They started arguing over her head, their voices rising, and something inside Ivy snapped. The fear, the confusion, the absolute insanity of her situation, it all crystallized into rage. "Stop!" she screamed. Both men went silent, shocked. "Just stop! I don't care about your war. I don't care about your territory or your pride or whatever sick game this is. Someone just tried to kill me. I'm a waitress. I'm nobody. Why is this happening?" The tears came then, hot and furious. She'd held them back through the shooting, through the terror, but now they poured out. She buried her face in her hands, her whole body shaking with sobs that tore from her chest. She felt arms around her, both of them. Cheng Mao on one side, Kim Jae-sung on the other, their ancient rivalry forgotten for just a moment as they held her together. Strong arms, dangerous men, offering the only comfort available in a world gone mad. "We'll find out who did this," Kim Jae-sung murmured against her hair. "I promise you. And we'll make them pay," Chung Mao added, his voice deadly. "No one touches what's ours." Ivy was too broken to argue with the possessive claim, too scared to push them away. So she let them hold her as the car raced through Seoul's streets, carrying her deeper into a world she never wanted to enter. A world where two dangerous men had decided she was worth starting a war over. And somewhere in the shadows, someone else had decided she was worth killing. Want to see what happens when Ivy is forced to choose between two monsters? When the real enemy reveals themselves? When innocence collides with obsession and power? This story is just getting started, and the next episode will blow your mind. If you're ready to find out who's hunting Ivy, which man will win her heart, and whether she'll survive the deadly game she's been pulled into, drop episode 2 in the comments right now. And don't forget to hit that like button so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, you need to see this.